Hi guys, hope y'all are doing fine. The quarantine is really digging on me. Today I got dressed as you can see, and I even did my hair. So I'm looking good. Hope y'all are doing well as well. Today we're going to be doing infusible ink. Um, so we're going to start with a simple project, and I wanted to do the Cricut Cuties. So you're going to go to Images on Design Space, and you're going to look. Right now, as you can see, they're giving us access to 100,000 images. They're not free though, but they're there. So you're going to type cuties, hit enter, and you're going to come up with a bunch of them. Now, if you're going to go to the art type on the left hand side and select draw only, because we only want the ones that are going to have the black and white background. We don't want any colored in there because we're going to be using infusible ink. So we have 4 choices here. So from here I want you to pick 3. Now you're not going to be you are going to be printing. So if you don't have access, we may need to do something else. But I'm going to have to select them. So what I do is I'm selecting them. Now I've already selected mine, so I'm going to go just back to my images, and I already have them there. So I have my 3 cuties right there. Now when the cuties first come in, if you look up here on the right hand corner, 3 of the layers, because there are different layers, 3 of the layers are in draw mode, which is what you want, but 1 of the layers in each cutie is a cut mode. We don't want our cuties to cut. We want it all to be drawn on a piece of paper. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on your first cutie, and you're going to check on the right hand side to see which of the layers is the cut mode. And you can see it because here it says draw, and one of them will say cut. So what you're going to do is you're going to select the cut one. You're going to go up here under line type and select draw. This will make the entire cutie to be drawn. We do not want anything cut. Now, once you've done the same thing to all 3 cuties, then we're ready to start printing them. Now, first you need to remember that the infusible ink pens, they're 2 different types, same color but 2 different types. And you'll be able to tell the difference by the top part. It has letters on it. One, it says fine, so which is your regular pen. This is the pen that goes in your machine. And the other one says M for markers. Now the markers are used so you can fill it in, so you can color in your project. Okay? So what we're going to need is we're going to need the fine one, the one to draw it. So you're going to insert this one in your machine. Now folks, remember that you're going to be inserting it into that little carrier, and you're going to push it in all the way until you hear the snap. If you don't hear the snap, then it's not pushed in all the way. Now another helpful thought is when you are using when you're using any type of a pen, you need to store them with the pen tip down. They need to be stored like this, because if not, they will go dry on you. Even if they're brand new pens, the very first time that you draw, it's going to take several tries for the ink to come out. So before you put your pen in the machine, you need to kind of use it and kind of write with it. See? And it starts with the ink not coming out, and then eventually the ink does come out. So once the inks come out, then you're ready to put it in your machine. It's a good tip. If not, you'd have to redo your drawing. So then the first thing you do is you're going to go to make it. And you can tell that all of my cuties are going to be on draw mode. If you have a cut mode in there, then you need to go back and refix it. They all have to be on draw mode. Now, the other thing you need to take into consideration is going to be your heat press. If your heat press is the big one, I think it's 10 by 12, then your project can be at that size. If you're going to use the smaller, which is the 8x9 or 9x9, that's smaller. So that means that you're going to use your heat press that size, or you're going to have to do it in multiple times. But that's kind of hard. So you're going to have to figure out how you want to work with your heat press. So what I decided to do mine was, I decided to do mine by 8.5 by 11 because that's going to be the size of my paper. Now you have to use laser paper. You cannot use the regular copy paper. It has to be laser paper. And you can tell the difference on the paper because it has a little, if you feel it, you can feel it. It's a little glossy feel on it. So that's the paper you need to put in your machine so you can do the type of print on it with your Infusible Ink pen. Now, if you didn't have Infusible Ink and you were just going to use a regular Cricut pen, you could. The only problem with that is when you iron it onto your item, the black is not going to come out because it's not Infusible Ink. It has to be Infusible Ink pen. All right. So what we do is we're going to go in here under material size and we're going to change it to 8.5 by 11 because that's going to be the size of our sheet. And so as you can see right now, my cuties, 2 of them are right side up and 1 is laying down. Well, that's not going to work for me. I want them all facing the same way. The other thing that you need to remember is that you need to mirror your project. Whenever you're doing the ink, the Infusible Ink that you're going to be using your markers with, your projects need, and print it on a piece of paper, the project has to be mirrored. So don't forget that part, it's important. So once you mirror it, then you can start repositioning your cuties. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start switching them around and move them around. Now I think I want the ones that has the hands on his sides. I want that one in the middle. And I want the other 2, the ones that have the hands raised up, I want them in the... Now, so I'm going to start positioning them around and to make sure that they're all there and that the parts aren't touching. And now I can see that some of the parts are going to be touching. So I'm going to have to probably move it kind of there and kind of there. So now I'm kind of happy with the way they look. And I'm ready to print. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click continue. And my machine, I need to turn on my machine. And it's buzzing. I have very little workspace, y'all. Still trying to do the Bluetooth search, and there it is. And so step 1 is going to be to have it printed. So I'm going to click, I'm just going to click on any one because it's not going to make a difference. Okay, because I'm not cutting anything. So then you're going to insert your laser paper in your machine and it's going to draw your cutie. So once the machine is finished drawing, it's going to look like this. Okay? Now remember that we used our fine pen, Infusible Ink pen with the F. So the black part is going to come out when we iron it on our tote bag. Okay? So then the next thing you need to do is you need to start coloring the cuties. Now, what I did is I went ahead and I used 2 different shades. I used a darker shade for the outside and a lighter shade for the inside. Okay? And then I colored the tongue red and I also gave him some brown teeth. So I don't know if you want to do that. But this is what it looks like. Now it looks kind of dullish and I was like, oh my God, it doesn't look good. So let's hopefully by the time you put it on your tote bag that it'll look okay. So this is ready to be ironed on. So then the next thing you need to do is you need to take your tote bag, and the tote bag that I purchased was the bigger tote bag, and it's an Infusible Ink tote bag. Now remember that when you're going to be using Infusible Ink, you have to use products that have over 90% polyester. If not, the Infusible Ink will not work. I've seen some done and they do work, but the colors aren't as bright as using the Cricut ones. And when you wash them, they do lose their color. So I went ahead and bought the tote bag blank. This is the 19 by 14, so it is a bigger one. But this is the one that I purchased. And this is what it looks like. Okay, it's just a plain old tote bag. And it's got a feel to it. It's not like a regular 100% cotton. And it's kind of brownish. It's not completely white. All right. Now, I also sent instructions to y'all on how to do the ironing part. And I attached them to the email that I sent you. And it tells you the instructions and how to, first of all, it gives you all the items that you're going to need. And then it gives you how to pick your project, how to print it, how to insert your pin in there. And then we're going to start with item number 1 on how to start using your heat press. So the first thing it says that you need to preheat your machine to 385 degrees for 15 seconds. Okay. Now this is what you're going to be using to get your tote ready to put on your Infusible Ink. Now you're going to need a lint hole cleaner. You're going to need your heat transfer tape. You're going to need your tote, and you're going to need some white cardstock. Make sure it's white. You're going to need your mat, and you're going to need your butcher paper. Now, the butcher paper is not reusable, and I'll show you why. All right, so the first thing it says, you're heating up your heat press. Then the next thing it says, cover the Easy Press mat with a cardstock. So you're going to put your Easy Press with a cardstock. Now, the reason why you want to put the cardstock against the mat is because Infusible Ink will stain your mat, and you don't want to stain mats, so you need to put the cardstock on top. Then you need to insert it inside your tote. You're going to insert it inside your tote, and I am going to use the bigger heat press, so it's going to cover it all. Okay, so here it is. Then the next thing it asks you to do is to use your lint roller, and do not skip this step. And just roll it over a few times on it just to see if it has any debris, any lint, any dog hair, cat hair, whatever. Just move it up. Even though I just took it out of the package, it's still going to have a little bit of lint. So make sure you take it all off. Then once you do that, then you're going to put your butcher paper on top so we can start heating it up. You put your heat press on for the 15 seconds and you take it off. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use the project, the one that you used, the one that you colored in with your Infusible Ink pens. I went ahead and placed some heat transfer tape on it just to keep it in place. So I'm going to put it on top, and I'm going to put my butcher paper on top of that, and then I'm ready to press it. Now, to press it, you're going to press it at 385 for 40 seconds. So make sure it up that seconds amount from 15 to 40 on your machine. Then you're going to place your machine on top. Make sure and apply pressure. I think the instructions say that you don't have to, but we have found out that you do need to apply the pressure. So apply the pressure for the 40 seconds. Then you remove your machine. Be careful to move your machine straight up. because if you slide it off, it may move the project. Even though I put the heat transfer tape, but still you never know. So once you do that, then make sure very carefully to move the paper off, the butcher paper. If you look at the butcher paper, see how it has the silhouettes of them there? So that's why it tells you that this butcher paper is not reusable. So it has to be thrown away. Then the next thing is you have to wait for your tote to cool off completely. Do not try to take it off beforehand. So just wait till and you can just feel the edges until it's cooled. So when it's cooled, then you can take the top layer off. Be careful if you're taking it off. Make sure it doesn't touch anything. Then you pick it up. You're gonna take your mat off, and your cardstocks. This one, fortunately, didn't get stained, but they usually do. And this is my final product. And I thought it turned out super cute. The little cuties, look at the colors, how vivid they look. Don't they look beautiful? Now, I probably want to add some wording or something on it later on, but for now, my cuties look super cute to me. And I am very happy with the colors. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're continuing to craft. We are bummed that we're not able to meet, and I don't think we're going to meet for the rest of the semester. So I'll be continue to do videos for y'all. Hopefully you can do the crafts on your own. I know it'll be difficult obtaining the products because we're not able to go to any of the stores. So I just happen to have some of these items because I did have them ready for you. The other thing that I didn't show y'all is I did have the Cricut pen, so I could share with y'all. And I have two different sets. One is the markers and the other one are the fine pens. The fine pens are the ones that you use on the machine, and the markers are the ones that you use to color the inside part of your drawing. They are quite pricey. They're like $30 each, but I had purchased them so we could use them. I hope you like the project, and I hope you have a great week. Stay indoors, be safe, and see y'all next week. Bye.